Good morning and welcome to today's children's message for April 10th, 2022. Unit 8, Into the Land, Session 3, Joshua challenges the people from Joshua 23 to 24. Good morning and welcome back, friends. We gather each week to learn about God, study the Bible, and spend time praising Him. We worship God because of who He is. He is our loving Creator and King. And because of what He does, saves sinners and provides for all our needs. Learning about God just helps us love Him more and worship Him in all areas of our life. Recently we've been focusing on miracles God does and looking at all the ways they help us love and worship God. Do you remember what our big picture question is? That's right. What is a miracle? Remember, a miracle is something God does that usually cannot be done, so we can know He is all powerful. And when God works a miracle, He does something immediate and powerful to show what He is like. 2 weeks ago we heard about the way God led His people to conquer more of the land. And then we heard about 5 kings who banded together to attack Gibeon and how God stopped the sun in the sky so that Joshua and the Israelites would have enough time to finish the battle and to protect Gibeon. And this week, our story is about a time that Joshua helped the Israelites look back at the different miracles that God has done. And we'll learn more about the importance of remembering God's miracles. So our lesson is called Joshua Challenged the People from the book of Joshua in our Bible, chapters 23 and 24. So, many years had passed since Joshua and the Israelites had defeated Jericho and Ai and the kings of the land, and God had allowed for the Israelites to rest from battles against their enemies. And now, sadly, Joshua was getting old. So he gathered all the people of Israel because he had some important things to say to them. Joshua said, "You have seen everything that the Lord your God has done. He has fought the battles for you. The rest of the land will be yours too, just as the Lord your God promised." And therefore Joshua continues, "Be careful to obey everything that is in the book of the law of Moses." That was the first 5 books. "Do not turn aside from it. Do not mix with the nations in this land or worship their gods. Keep clinging to God. He fights for you. Love the Lord your God. If you disobey God, He will no longer help you win the battles. In fact, you will die here if you disobey Him." And Joshua reminded the people about the things God had done in the past. God had called Abraham and had given him a son, Isaac. And He had given Isaac 2 sons, Jacob and Esau. And Jacob's children had been slaves in Egypt, where God had sent Moses and Aaron. And then God rescued the Israelites from the Egyptians, bringing them safely across the Red Sea. They had fought and won many battles because God was fighting for them. And God had done so many great things for His people. And Joshua commanded the people, "Fear the Lord and worship Him. Or will you worship false gods?" He said, "As for me and my family, we will worship the Lord." And the people all replied, "We will not abandon the Lord. We know how much God has done for us, and we love Him." But then Joshua warned the people, if you abandon God to worship the other gods, God will turn His back against you, and He will destroy you. "No," the people replied, "we will worship the Lord." So on that day, Joshua made a covenant with the people. He wrote it down and set it aside up on a large stone under an oak tree. And Joshua said, "This stone will be a reminder of your duty to serve the Lord, who kept every promise in bringing you into this land." Then Joshua sent the people back to their homes. And after that, Joshua died, and he was 110 years old. So you may think, well, what does that have to do with me? God's people remember what God has done. And for us, we need to remember exactly how God has been good to us and how he has kept his promise over and over. And God's people remember what God had promised. In addition to acting in good and loving ways to his people, God also promised good things. He promised them a new homeland. He promised them to be with them and to be their God. And he promises that for us too. And God's people walk in obedience. Joshua shared that since God has done and said so many great and loving things for them, that the people should respond in loving obedience. Which leads us to our Christ connection today. As Joshua prepared for his own death, he left behind a legacy of obedience to God. He challenged his people and helped us understand God's covenant with Israel. And God told the Israelites that if they obey him, he would bless them and protect them and provide for them. But God also had warned them that if they worship false gods, he would allow their enemies to rule over them. Joshua knew that the people would struggle to obey God, so he told them to remember always the wonderful thing that God had done for them. Joshua reminded them of their history with God, pointing out all the miracles he had done for them and all the ways he had loved them and kept them safe. Remembering God's miracle helps us to honor him too. After Jesus' death and resurrection, he appeared to his disciples and left them a legacy too. To obey him by making disciples of all nations. We may face times when living for God may seem impossible or even like it just isn't worth the effort. But remembering who God is and what he has done for us to show us that he loves us and wants to help us, then God will really help us to obey him. Because everything God does is for his glory and our good. So let me show you something to help us kind of understand what this lesson means. I have this paper clip I want to show you. This is a kind of a special paper clip, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to take this paper clip and I'm going to bend it and twist it and everything, And then I'm going to take this. Oops, I need to put this. I have this container and I have some really hot water in here. And I'm going to pour the hot water into this thing. I think that should be enough. So I have this hot water here, and this is my paper clip, and it's twisted. You remember what it looked like in the beginning, and now I'm going to pour it into there. Oops, I don't have quite enough water. Oh, my water's not quite hot enough. Ben? Can you give me some really, really hot water? Hang on, I'm going to have Uncle Ben help us because it's not quite working. So as soon as Uncle Ben comes, I'm going to have him put some more hot water in here, and then I'll show you what happens to the paper. This paper clip is made from a special kind of metal called nitinol, a combination of nickel and titanium. Can you put some really boiling water in there so that on top of the paper clip, and just bring it back. And what happens is when that Nittleton wire is bent out of shape, it will quickly correct itself when it's exposed to heat. In a way, that can help us think about why it's important to remember everything that God has done for us. The shape of the paper clip represents us living with God the way he wants us to. And just as that paper clip is useful for holding together papers, We are useful for God's mission when we walk with him. And sometimes we can go through trials. Oh, so if you can see on the bottom here, the paper clip went back together again. I'm going to take it out. Ooh, it's really hot. I'll show you one more time. Uncle Ben, would you hold this for me? So sometimes this paper clip is just like our life. Sometimes we get bent out of shape. See how we get bent out of shape? And then when it gets pat back in, it again becomes the paper clip. Ouch. So it gets back to the paper clip. And that's just what we want you to remember, is that just as the paper clip remembered the shape it was supposed to have, we can remember all the wonderful things God has done for us. Remembering God's wonderful miracles and provisions help us love him. Loving God helps us to persevere, to continue loving him and trusting him and obeying him. So whenever you're feeling down, remember what God has done for you. So that leads us to our Bible verse again. Our key passage, remember, comes from the book of Psalms. Psalm 77 is actually a song about feeling sad because of hard times the Israelites were facing, but it also focuses on finding comfort in God by remembering his goodness and the works he had done. We can find comfort in remembering God's miracles and goodness too. If you haven't memorized the key verse, do so this week, because next week is our last week for it. So keep pressing on, and soon you'll know it. Here's our verse. Psalm 77:14. You are the God who works wonders. You have made your might among. You have made known your might among the people. Psalm 77:14. So please practice that. And you know what? Another good way to remember all the things God has done is in a journal. Keep track of what God has done and what you have seen him done in your life. And that will help you remember how God has been personally great, loving to you. So let's close in prayer. Father God, no one is like you. No one else has the power to save us from our sins. Thank you for the love, mercy, and grace you gave us through the cross. Help us to remember you each and every day. Give us a heart that longs to know, love, and honor you. In your son's name, amen. Excuse me. And again, boys and girls, this week is Palm Sunday. Although we didn't talk about it much today here, but this is also good, the start of Holy Week. So please, if you need to, we have copies of our Easter week book. So stop by the church and pick up your copy. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.